Everyone. I put a video out the other day, and that day I knew that I'd be putting another video out really quick after that one because in that video I addressed the addict, but in this particular video I wanted to address something that was equally important, um, and that's the addict's family. Um, Being a family member, a mom, a dad, a sibling of an addict is so hard. And I can tell you that when my son first became addicted, the first thing that happened was our family got flipped upside down. There was so much chaos every single day. Um, there wasn't a moment's peace. With addiction comes chaos. Um, he baited mom against dad, dad against mom, siblings, you name it. We were in complete chaos, and none of that was helping my addict. I personally, as the mom, was in absolute, complete denial. I couldn't believe it. I never ever thought I would have an addicted child. I was an addict. So my mom had an addicted child, but I never ever dreamt that I would have one. I mean, my son enlisted in high school and went into the army. Never did drugs before. I thought it was going to be great, and I never had a problem with my daughter. So when my son became addicted, it flipped our family. And it took us a while to get united, and it was painful. I personally, for 3 months, I was paralyzed. I was full of shame. I was embarrassed. I blamed myself. Um, and I pretty much hated the world. I could not believe that I couldn't fix my son, my own son. I gave birth to him, and I couldn't fix him. I tried. I thought I could buy him sober. I thought I could uh, I enabled him. I gave him everything he asked for because I thought that would make him happy and he wouldn't stop, and he would just stop. He would stop using drugs. But little did I know, every single time I gave him something, he got drugs with it. So all I was doing was helping him die quicker from the disease of addiction. And thank God he's not dead. Because if he was, I would have been the very one to blame at that point for helping him get there quicker. Um, at one point in the beginning, I didn't even care if I lived anymore. It was so hard watching my baby kill himself slowly and not being able to fix him. Um, it wasn't until probably 4 months in that I found an online support group. And this is where things changed for me. I found out that I wasn't alone. And I found out that I didn't have to be shameful. My son had a disease. He has the disease of addiction. And I wouldn't be ashamed if he had cancer. So, this changed everything for me. I wasn't alone. I wasn't ashamed anymore. They taught me tough love and boundaries. I wasn't able to do tough love. I just don't have that in me, but I came up with my own version, and that was called tougher love. And every time my son came to me and asked for something, I would ask myself, if I say yes, is this going to help him die quicker from the disease of addiction? If the answer was yes, I immediately said no. And if the answer was no, then maybe I would give him something. But at this point in his life, he had an apartment. And sadly, if he didn't answer his phone, as a family, we had a plan. And it's so sad to think about. So if he didn't answer, what I would do is get a hold of my husband, and my husband would go to his apartment to check on him to see if he was alive. And that's the real deal with addiction. Um, my daughter, his sister, was another one that would go check. They never wanted me to find my son dead. And that's the real deal with addiction. Okay, so I knew at this point that I was saying no to anything that could enable my son to die. But I didn't know what other people were giving him. So that's when I became vocal. I put my pride aside. There was no such thing as pride anymore. And I shouted it out. I told everybody because I knew I wasn't giving him $50, but I didn't know if his uncle was. So I had to tell everybody, you know what? I understand that families have pride, and I understand that it can be embarrassing, but you know what? Nothing, nothing is more valuable than life. So if I've heard people being worried about their family name, who cares? It doesn't matter. As it doesn't matter. As as long as that name isn't on a tombstone with your child's name, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that we help them find hope and lead them in the right direction to recovery. We may or may not be able to help them, but in our heart of hearts, we'll know that we at least tried. So, my advice to you as an addict's mom is put your pride aside. Put it aside. It's so not important. Don't be ashamed. Love your addict. Give them encouragement. Always encourage them. There's always, always, always hope. If there's a breath in them, there's hope. Reach out to other addicts, families, and talk to them so you know you're not alone, because that is a dark, dark place. I was there. I didn't even care if I lived. I mean, that's sad. And it wasn't even me addicted anymore. But I just couldn't fix them, and I felt so alone. So find support. Talk to other parents. Get suggestions. That's what helped me so much, that I became so strong and learned how to set boundaries, and I learned how to say no. And I do believe that's part of why my son is alive today. I say only part because really it's him that did the work, not me. I just know that I didn't help him die quicker. Please don't be don't be ashamed. Please don't be ashamed. They have a disease. The disease is called addiction. Addiction wants us dead. Okay? It's huge. It's huge. So I can't express enough. Just give them the love, encouragement, and shout it out. Don't be ashamed, please. There's always hope. There truly is. At one point, maybe 2 points, I lost hope. But guess what? I'd find it again because these parents would encourage me. And I have a success story right now. And I know that things can change, but every day I just pray that things go well, and I'm willing to help anybody. So if you're a parent that doesn't have anybody to talk to, please send me a message. I'd love to talk, and I would never share your personal business. I love you guys. I love the addicts, and I love the parents, and I know it's so hard for everybody. And if we can help one person, one addict, one family member, then hey, we're doing something right. I love you guys, and never ever give up hope, ever.